Inside the Arena is presented by Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, Seattle's closest sportsbook.
Welcome to Inside the Arena, your source for everything off the ice, off the court, and outside the field of play. With your hosts, KOMO Sports Director Niko and KOMO Senior Reporter Chris Daniels.
It's a great time of year. Feels like spring.
Yeah, the sun is out. We got some great teams going on and like seasons intersecting. That's kind of my favorite time. And the Seahawks making the run they did certainly kind of made that even more special to have it in that way. So let's go.
The birds are chirping. The sun is out. People are smiling. They're walking around in shorts.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I walk around in shorts when it's 35, but I mean, shorts and a hoodie.
Well, one of the reasons why it's a great time of year, too, is because it's always one of my favorite events of the year. Yeah. The Sports Star of the Year, presented by the Seattle Sports Commission. And Beth Knox, the CEO, she has elevated that event every year, and she joins us back inside the arena today.
What I would say to anybody who maybe has heard about it but didn't dive too deep into it or didn't go to the event, make sure you pay attention. Watch our live coverage that night. It is really a who's who, current legendary stars of Seattle sports. I remember the first one I covered, I was just starstruck. I'm like looking every which way, like, oh my God, I can't believe how many people are here. An amazing time. And it really, I mean, think about all the things we've had in the last year. Even when you don't have world championships, it's still a special event, but this is going to be even to a greater level with that.
As you and I have talked about on this show, it's going to be tough to pick the sports story of the year, which will be unveiled there at the event on Friday, March 13th. But Beth is going to tell you what's new this year, some of the people that are getting awards, how it all works, tickets that are available. And I can compare it, I think a lot of people do, with the ESPYs on a local level.
I agree with that. Yeah. And it's, what's cool is like the awards are special. Fans get to vote on them and everything like that. But it's the in-between. It's who's presenting awards. It's who's just there hanging out at the dinner. I mean, Detlef Shrimp walks by and you're just like, holy cow, there's Detlef. Like that sort of thing. And it's just a really special night all around. So I'm sure Beth previews all of that and everything. But I think it's also cool to think about for people that are on the fence, think about going, think about checking it out, tuning in, all that good stuff. Make sure you do so.
Yeah, so that's coming up later in the show. But we always like to start every week with what's good, what's bad, off the ice, off the court, off the field of play. We touch them all four corners. Niko, what is good this week?
Yeah, I think when you talk about what we saw last week with the PWHL, the Seattle Torrent, breaking records, we were both there hanging out. And I suspect you're going to talk about this as well. It was just really special because, we can talk about the atmosphere. I think you will as well. But I think that when you think about the way Seattle shows out for women's sports, I mean, the Storm has been the most supported W franchise that I can think of, right? You think about the Reign, always has constant support. And certainly we've been, blessed to have these legends of the sport come by, Megan Rapinoe, Sue Bird, and now Hillary Knight. Obviously, she's injured right now, which is unfortunate. But to see that atmosphere and to see the support for women's sports, to sell out the largest women's hockey game in an arena in the United States for attendance. I mean, that was just so cool. If you went to it, you know what I'm talking about. If you didn't, you missed out. It was so, just an amazing atmosphere. I think when you look at it in that way, that you left home feeling like, even though they lost, you were like, wow, that was amazing. That was a great time. So kudos to the Torrent, the players, front office, everybody for making that an awesome atmosphere.
And I think the Torrent are here because the fans in Seattle have shown how they support women's sports.
Yeah.
And this is a city like no other now with the Reign, the Storm, the Torrent. You can talk about all the great UW women's teams that have existed over time. There's another football league. This has been a unique market, and I think that crowd on Friday really showed it.
It did, and full disclosure, you and I still can't get our hands on those sweaters because we were looking; they were sold out before the puck even dropped. Yes. Which is a good thing.
So that's our. We'll take people behind the curtain here inside the arena. We went inside the arena to try and find those coveted Torrent jerseys. The franchise had released a bunch more of the sweaters for purchase, and that really nice sweater that Rapinoe was wearing at the event you were at. And we were told by the staff they sold out in minutes.
Like, don't blame them.
People were showing up at 5:30, an hour and a half before the game, going straight to the team store, buying up all the merch. They are the hottest item in town. Those Torrent Seattle jerseys, those sweaters.
Yeah, they're so cool, and it's again, first of all, a hockey sweater you can wear anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it's, but it's just a testament to marketing and everything like that. Just nailing the scheme, nailing the colors, and yeah, and it's a good thing that we didn't get one because it means that they're doing some good business over there, and as they should. It's a really good product. When you think about the 4 gold medalists, right, from Team USA on there. Obviously Hillary Knight, Hannah Bilka, you had Kayla Barnes and Alex Carpenter. Really, just an awesome level of talent with this team. And what an amazing first season this has been. So I know they have some work to do in the standings, trying to get the playoffs. But as far as kind of capturing that spirit here in town, it's been an amazing job.
Well, and Captain America was nice enough to wear one of those coveted jerseys on Saturday Night Live, advertising the Torrent as well. Bummer that she's out apparently with an MCL injury that she suffered in Milan in the Olympics, but she was there, recognized the crowd, recognized the franchise on the stage on SNL. That was a fun exchange too. If you haven't seen the skit involving the men's hockey players and trying to put some of that back and forth to rest, and also good news this week: the Kraken sitting above the line with 23 games left. I hate to jinx it because who knows when people are going to hear this, but as of when we're recording this, 23 games left. They're above the line, which would put them in the playoffs as of today. And I think from a business perspective, this is a key year for the Kraken with a lot of those 5-year season ticket packages being up for renewal and maybe some fans on the fence. They want to have a good season to keep the fan base interested here, especially with other options like the Torrent and potentially the Sonics.
Right. And this is something we talked about last summer, right? The idea that they had to nail this season, and that's why maybe they made the change from Dan Bilesma. They shook up the front office a little bit. They made some signings and trades and things of that nature. And I'll say this, just to be in that position after they lost something like 10 of 11 games back in December, that's a testament. Great job by Lane Lambert and those guys. But I will say it's a really tightly packed race.
Yep.
So, and they seem to have hit something of a consistent level of play. Like they seem to be playing similar hockey night in, night out. So let's hopefully see them keep that going for the next maybe 6 weeks or so and beyond.
Yeah.
I mean, really, I want it to be like 12 weeks if we're being, selfish here, but it's the perfect time for this to happen. Let's get them back in there and let's have more playoffs in Seattle.
It would be great. Okay. So what don't you like?
I'm a pretty positive guy, Chris. No, but I think
you are. We've laid down that gauntlet here on Inside the Arena. It is tough for Niko to find.
No, I'm going to step way outside our normal arena. We'd like to keep it local here on Seattle Sports. But, okay, it's not a rant. One of the things I've just liked lately is how every network, everybody has their different streaming packages, and it's so darn confusing. So one thing, and you know this, and I don't make it too public, whatever, but one of my cool connections with my niece and nephew way out on the East Coast is WWE wrestling. And it was always an easy thing. You could just flip on Peacock or Netflix and you can just find it. Well, apparently, they just switched to some ESPN package. It's like $40 or $35 a month or something like that. I'm like, all right, kids, I love you, but and listen, I'm sure it's all business, money to be made and all that. But can we just stay on the same networks? That was something they had a big event Saturday.
Yeah.
And I was in my niece and nephew were all ready for the Sunday phone call, about the who won, who lost. And I didn't watch, guys. I'm sorry. I watched clips on Twitter. That's all.
Because you thought you were going to go to Peacock like last year to see the WWE.
Yeah,
and now this year it's somewhere else.
They got to make money. I'm sure that's why I'm not but I'm like, can we just have some consistency here?
Yeah.
And why do we got to pay $35 a month for that?
On top of everything else, there's a whole streaming discussion to have at a later date. I'll tell you what I don't like this week, and this is not to get very political. Obviously, everybody has seen the news over the weekend about the U.S. and Israel attacking Iran, and Iran has retaliated, and that has brought in a lot of questions as it relates to Seattle and the World Cup, and that's what this show is about. And the impacts off the ice, off the court, off the field of play. It's immediately cast some doubt about what is going to happen with the Iranian men's national team that is slated to play here against Egypt in the World Cup. You're going to hear what Beth Knox has to say about this later in the show, but there are already questions about, does this mean Iran's going to drop out of the World Cup? Right. It sounds like the initial conversations with the head of the soccer federation there and the Associated Press is, yes, they may not be able to compete. So what does FIFA do? Does FIFA try to find another team to play? Does FIFA just say, hey, let's go down to a 3-team group stage, which would then potentially impact games in Seattle? Nobody seems to know right now, but there may be an impact on the World Cup and which teams come to America based on what happened this past weekend.
Right. And you think about, even if, say, the Iranian national team still plays in this tournament, you think about playing games in the U.S. And listen, neither one of us know how long this conflict lasts, of course, but it's already, even if they do feel the team, oh boy, that's going to be different. Do they play their games in Canada and Mexico instead? Or it just, obviously much more important things when it comes to that conflict, but it does impact Seattle sports because there's that game on the 26th of June. And it is something that was already a game that was drawing world attention, happening during Pride Week and everything like that. So we'll have to just wait and see what happens here. But I also think even if the Iranian team does play, it's already going to be tough to, have them play games anywhere in the U.S.
Well, and it's going to be tough too from a ticketing perspective. We know what FIFA has said publicly about ticket sales, but that is a game in particular that there is a travel ban, for lack of a better phrase, where the Iranian players would be allowed to travel to the U.S. for the game, but fans who say live in another country trying to get here, whether it be from Canada or Mexico or elsewhere, it might be a little bit more difficult. So what does that mean for the atmosphere and how many people are coming to Lumen Field for that game? Just lots of questions as it pertains to a local sports business sense, hotels, Airbnbs, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, the conflict itself is more important, but I know that those questions are being asked here in the last 48, 72 hours amongst leaders in the city, business leaders, sports business leaders, about how this may impact the World Cup.
Right. Yeah. And it's going to be, I don't know that we'll know the answer until it gets really close on it. I mean, which is so impossible to tell, but we're going to monitor it for sure.
So we do have news, right? For the Supersonic Minute.
Can I hit the button this
time? You can
hit
the button. Hit it.
I'm hitting it. Nothing's working.
Oh my God.
How did that work for you?
I hit the green button. I hit the green button.
I am honored to do the Supersonic Minute this week.
Yes.
So you if you don't know, you should. We have a really cool brand of basketball, USBL team, the Seattle Superhawks. Pierre Cockrell and Jackie Yang, two amazing owners of that team. They really put a good product out there. If you're just a fan of basketball, it's a really fun, up-tempo, high energy brand, placing games at SPU. But the Supersonic Minute news to come out of that, our beloved Gary Payton is now the associate head coach of that team, which is a really fun dynamic because their head coach is Robert Pack, formerly of the Denver Nuggets. He and Gary had some interesting playoff series back in the 90s. And so even just that alone, and Gary is imploring everybody, hey, come out, watch this team. They're really good. For fans, it's cool to see the glove on the sideline. For those players, what a resource. And both those guys, right? And there are, there's guys in this league that have gone to the G League. There's a couple that have gone to the NBA itself. Many have gone overseas. These are talented players. You got to remember, an NBA roster only has so many spots. It's on a football team, so really fun brand of basketball. Gary Payton, now associate head coach. And I'll say this, it's going to be a lot of fun, especially with the backdrop of everything, at least the wheels turning, so it sounds, on the Sonics, and having basketball here, hopefully the Storm, everything that gets worked out on the W side. But associate head coach Gary Payton, I like the sound of that.
The Supersonics, the Super Hawks making more than one headline too in last week.
Yeah, Jonte Porter, and he's a guy that banned from playing in the NBA, and this is his second chance, and he's aware of that. And it's what this league is for. It's high level basketball, but it's also an opportunity for that second chance. Whether it's something like Jonte, made a mistake trying to clean it up now, or just life in general. So there's some really interesting stories with this team as well. These guys have to work and then go to practice, that sort of thing. So it's a real love of the game sort of league, and that's what makes it special. But yeah, Jonte going to be a key piece for this team, and it'll be interesting to see him as he works towards the second chance and what can be done in that way.
And it was great to see Gary and Sean back with Det, as Detlef Schrempf got his number retired by the University of Washington. What a great story Detlef Schrempf has been. A guy who went to Centralia College and then the University of Washington, then the Sonics. I mean, the guy has been local through and through, and finally getting some recognition there from the University of Washington. And there's a great photo circulating online of the three of them at the All-Star game back in the day, and then they're all standing in the same way at the UW this past weekend.
Full circle. I love that.
Well, let's talk about the big event right around the corner. Friday, March 13th, Beth Knox, the CEO of the Seattle Sports Commission, going to tell you more about the Sports Star of the Year coming up right after the break.
Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, Seattle's closest sportsbook, is your place for a true in-game betting experience. Download the Snoqualmie Casino Sportsbook app to get in on the action while watching your favorite games at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Details at snowcasino.com. Seattle's closest sportsbook, Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
All right, so here we are once again with the great Beth Knox, CEO of the Seattle Sports Commission. She is personally elevated every year, the biggest event, I think, of the year, because it's the greatest mix of sports, politics, and business all in the same room. Of course, I am talking about the Sports Star of the Year at the Convention Center, the Summit Extension, once again in downtown Seattle. Beth, welcome inside the arena again.
I always love to come back and chat with you and Niko. And I agree. Sports Star of the Year is my favorite event and has been for a very long time, long before I came into the Sports Commission. So I couldn't agree more.
So what do you have planned this year?
Well, I think, first of all, for the listeners here, is that this event is it's our flagship celebration, and it's honoring Washington's top athletes, coaches, leaders, and all those defining sports moments of the past season. We like to call it Washington's biggest night out in sports. And it recognizes those sports stars and the stories of, as I said, the past season. But then it also celebrates the sports legends, sports humanitarians, sports media excellence, and even those organizations that have been advancing sports equity and inclusion. So the fans, any of the attendees there, get to rub shoulders with all of these past, present, and future sports stars. They get to be out on Media Row, where I know you'll be, Chris. They get to see the iconic trophies, certainly all the big ones that our teams have won. And then we have an online silent auction that you can also bid on the night of. So all of that supports our access to youth sports. So it's kind of this really cool, inclusive event that has some great benefit and some great excitement. We like to call it one night, one room, but all the stars.
And Niko and I have been talking every week about this. It seems like this is going to be a really tough year for the sports story of the year.
Boy, you aren't kidding me. The number of accomplished athletes that in both men's and women's categories, when our nominations committee came together, and you've been a part of that, it really was a difficult task to just narrow it down to the top 5, and in the case of women, top 6. So we put that out to the public, though, and the public votes will determine who the actual recipient is for Sports Star, men's and women's. But boy, really incredible accomplishments from this past season.
Yeah, it seems like the Mariners had a leg up maybe in the early voting, and then for some reason there may be a change here in the late voting. I don't know what happened. There were hundreds of thousands of people who maybe voted with their feet during a parade recently that I also know you were part of.
You're right. And just those two alone are incredible. The Seahawks winning the Super Bowl and the Mariners going to postseason. But then you also have UW soccer that captured the national attention. And of course, it had all the heartbreak and heroics by losing, of course, Mia Hammond. But the work that the Washington soccer team did is just incredible. And then also you have the Sounders. They are the first team to fill the trophy case with what's called the Continental Conquest. They defeated Inter Miami in front of a record crowd at Lumen Field. I mean, they really had a huge accomplishment. They became the first club to capture all 5 major North American soccer trophies. That's an incredible story, too. And then, of course, you have the Seattle Torrent that becoming the first Seattle's expansion team in PWHL. So, and they had, of course, a record attendance that first game when they played back, over a year ago now. So it's really a lot of great stories that I hope the public helps to figure out who the actual winner is of this best story.
Yeah, it's like having 5 great Best Picture nominees, and every picture could win. It really is a year, I think, like no other, and it could be a year with other stories in the future too.
Exactly. But we also, outside of the sports star categories, we have, as I mentioned, a variety of sports legends and other categories that we will be recognizing. And I am so excited for our sports legend, or in this case, legends of the event this year. We're going to be recognizing 2 legends in the soccer category, Casey Keller and Michelle Akers. And both, of course, are Washington natives. Michelle became a global icon by leading the U.S. To that inaugural 1991 FIFA Women's World Cup title with a record 10 goals. I mean, that's just off the charts. And then later adding Olympic gold and multiple world championships. And she was also named the FIFA Female Athlete of the Century. I mean, that's just off the charts. But Casey, of course, is equally incredible. Started in Europe, and then came back to the Sounders FC, becoming a 3-time U.S. Soccer Athlete of the Year, finished his storied career at 41 as the MLS Goalkeeper of the Year before a record-setting hometown farewell. So it's going to be so awesome to hear from both of those legends. And then on the sports humanitarian, I'm also super pleased to be bringing in Mike and Kathy Holmgren as the recipients of the Humanitarian Award. So that will be awesome. And I know this one is probably special to your heart, but for our media excellence, we're going to be posthumously recognizing the great Tony Ventrella. And I'm so looking forward. This is a long overdue honor. And while I'm sorry he won't be here in person to appreciate it, I know that there's a lot of other people that this was really important that they could share their own memories and accolades for Tony.
One of the most positive people you'll ever see in local sports, Tony Ventrella, and it's great that he's getting the deserved recognition at the Sports Star of the Year award. Again, tickets still available, correct?
Tickets are still available. You can go to seattlesports.org and get those tickets. It's such a fun evening, and there's so many exciting elements. You can just rub shoulders with a lot of sports celebrities in one room. So I hope people come and join us.
Yeah, or even just watch people get interviewed on the red carpet when Niko and me are doing their thing. Yeah. So exactly. You've got a couple of events coming up as well that I think you're excited about.
I am. So in April 14th, actually, we have 2 things. We have the She Believes Summit, followed immediately by the U.S. Women's National Team match against Japan. So April 14 will be a pre-match welcome and reception, and then the game will be that night. And then April 15th is the actual summit. We've got the number of great guests that will be at this summit. U.S. Women's National Team coach Emma Hayes, sports anchor and reporter Sarah Walsh, the founder and CEO of Just Women's Sports, Haley Rosen will be there, the president of U.S. Soccer Federation, and a few of the women's national team players as well. And then some local representatives from the sports community will also be there. So that's going to be a great summit. but the game against Japan, I mean, it's a friendly, but how often do we get to have the U.S. women's national team right here in our hometown? And they'll be playing at Lumen Field on the new grass that is being put in for World Cup. So very exciting. Tickets, of course, are available for the women's national team match. And I want to show off Seattle in the best way possible and fill that stadium.
And it'll be exciting because obviously the World Cup is right around the corner. And I guess we should end with this, Beth. You know that there has been big news over the weekend with Iran, who is scheduled to play in the World Cup in Seattle at one of those matches at Lumen Field. Any word on how these global events could impact our global event in Seattle?
You know, we're in a wait and see time period right now. As you know, because this is a very dynamic time that we are in, and things are changing sometimes by the hour. So the White House task force for the World Cup has prioritized this, and they will be responding to us, to all the host cities, and of course, is certainly Seattle, who is scheduled to have Iran here. So no news yet. We're waiting for word on how this is going to impact the matches, if it will impact it.
Well, in the short term, we'll be focused on the Sports Star of the Year. I know you spend and your team spend months and months working on this. It is, I am legitimately, I tell people it's one of my favorite events of the year to go to. It's the pre-party, the actual event, the post-party. It's like you gotta rest up for it.
That is true. It's a bit of a marathon event in the best way possible. And, you know, I think that's how I see the next few months here in Seattle. We are in a marathon of incredible events leading up to the World Cup and including that. And regardless of what happens with Iran, we have some incredible matches that are going to be played in Seattle this summer, and celebrating through all the many watch parties that we have spread around the city and activations that will be on the various neighborhoods. We have so much ahead of us in the sports realm. It's almost, do we have enough stamina to take it all in? It's going to be incredible.
All right, Beth Knox, CEO of Seattle Sports Commission. Thank you. I'll see you at the Sports Star of the Year.
See you soon.
So there you have it from Beth Knox. The Holmgren is going to be honored at this. So is Tony Ventrella, one of the people near and dear to my heart over the years. Just grew up watching him, had a chance to work with him. He'll be honored at the Sports Star of the Year.
They don't come better than Tony, that's for sure.
Well, it's going to be a great event. Again, tickets still available for that day, Friday, March 13th. First time it's been on a Friday down at the stunning Summit Convention Center in downtown Seattle. And you also have a chance to vote on who wins that Sports Story of the Year, because it's going to be, I think, a very close vote.
I think so. Does David Lee have a vote?
You've been listening to Inside the Arena with Niko and Chris. Please subscribe on your favorite platform. Until next time.
Inside the Arena was presented by Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, Seattle's closest sports book.